Hi, welcome everybody to Bang a Yui. This is the first episode. I'm your host, Angelina Asante, and my first guest today is someone I've known for a long time, my friend, Penny St. Peter.
Hello.
Now, I'm from Massachusetts. Penny still lives there, and Penny is a bus driver. And Penny's going to tell us before COVID how that job was versus what it's like now. And she's going to give some tips to parents about how to keep your kids safe, not necessarily COVID related, but what it's like being a bus driver in 2020. Because I could tell you, Penny, you're going to find this shocking. When I was a student, I always had the bus driver yelling, and I think I probably forced some people into early retirement. I know you're like, what? You're so sweet. But you do remember what a little hellion I was in school.
I can see you being the one that I'm giving tickets to.
I had a lot of tickets. It got me ready for driving a car, though, to get tickets then. So it was a nice segue. So now first, Penny, I got to tell you, my mom and dad, when I told them I was naming the podcast Bang a Yui, my mom was appalled because I named it something so offensive. And this woman grew up in Massachusetts all her life, and I was like, Mom, that's a U-turn. How do you come from Massachusetts and not know we call it Bang a Yui?
That's a massholeism.
And it's statewide. It's not like a Boston thing. That's statewide. Bang a Yui.
Bang a Yui, going to the packy,
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
Well, my mom and dad didn't do a lot of that. They didn't do a lot of that. I'm wondering how...
They wouldn't know about Bang a Yui. They would think it was something very bad.
Inherently, if it comes from me, that's the first assumption.
Exactly.
All right, so Penny, now we've gotten it out of our systems that I was a bad child, but what is it like being a bus driver in 2020? I would imagine it was much worse than the 80s when we were growing up.
Oh, yes, definitely. Back in the 80s when we grew up, bus drivers could smoke on the bus for crying out loud. There was so much less safety rules. Nowadays, we have to worry about, kids with their germs and everything, and it's one of those things where you have to worry about that, plus behavior, plus kids listening to you.
Well, now here's a weird question, and probably inappropriate. I don't live in Mass. Is weed legal in Mass now?
Yes, it is.
So now, I know you said that bus drivers used to smoke cigarettes. Is anyone smoking anything now?
No. As a CDL driver, you cannot smoke weed. If you get tested for smoking weed, you will basically lose your CDL license. It's basically the same with drinking and driving too. Even when I'm not performing as a school bus driver, I cannot test over, I think it's 0.03. If I do, I am in fear of losing my CDL.
Wow. So if you've got like a legitimate health issue, you still can't have medical marijuana?
No, we cannot.
Wow. That's interesting. I mean, because
my company that I work for, our boss does tests which are actually mandated through the state of Massachusetts, like at least twice a year. We have random drug tests.
Wow, that's so crazy. The only way I could drive a bus is if I was smoking weed.
Right?
I just can't imagine. And then having to stop and go slow. Like I just couldn't do it. So now let me ask you a question. I remember in the 80s, we didn't have seatbelts. You all have seatbelts now though, right?
No, we don't.
What?
No. So the way that a school bus is built, it's built for safety. It's built basically like a tank. That's why if you ever see school bus accidents, 90% of the time it's the car that takes the brunt of it. And the car is like totaled compared to the school bus,
Wow.
The seats on the bus are cushioned so that in case of an impact or a stop, they're cushioned so the kids can, bounce off of per se.
That's quite a picture you're painting in my My head.
And we also, like, my company and in particular my lot, we've been doing safety programs. We call it Kindergarten First Drive for Safety. We do that at least once a year. Sometimes we do it twice, depending upon if the school allows us to go in there. We go in and we teach everyone how to safely ride the school bus. And one of our things is not only do you have to sit with your back up against the back of the seat, but you have to sit with your backpack in front of you, because that also helps in case if anything were to happen. If we had to stop short or anything, it does help cushion every, child that's on the bus.
Wow, I just can't even, that's really, really crazy. So, like, if I had a kid taking a school bus, I think I would probably, like, wrap them in bubble wrap. Good luck.
Honestly, the school bus is one of the safest forms of transportation.
Because I'm not driving one.
Probably.
So now with COVID, how has driving a bus changed? Because I think people are like, I don't know. I think bus drivers have to put up with a lot of crap. And unfortunately, I think a lot of parents don't really care or think about how their child or how their parenting affects other people. So what is going on with COVID and driving a bus now?
Well, for one, we have safety protocols in place. We disinfect our buses at the end of each day. We use a fog mister that disinfects the bus. Us as school bus drivers, we also, after each run, meaning after we drop off the kids, we get back to the yard, we wipe down, our high-touch areas, with our rails, everything like that. That has been added. Also, everyone on the school bus now wearing masks. So in Massachusetts, we're mandated to wear masks out in public. And when you're on a school bus, same rules apply. Also, we have to keep our windows open at all times unless extreme weather conditions. We also have to have the kids staggered somewhat, so there's no kids can sit next to each other unless they're related. They come from, the same house. And, we have to keep at least 3 feet of distance away from the kids, each kid. So that's how we do it on the bus. I mean, it's kind of scary when you do it. You just kind of like, okay, you got to sit here. And I mean, sometimes you want those kids that, are the troublemakers to sit up front, but we can't have that now, because when we load the kids that first get on the bus go to the back of the bus. And then when they're getting off, it's the kids who last get on the bus get off, so that no kids are passing each other.
Oh my gosh.
They're staying away from each other.
See, and I'm wondering about, like, the long-term mental aspect of all of this. Like, have you noticed a change in the kids' temperament? Because I'm sure you have a lot of the same kids as last school year.
I do and I don't, because of the way that this worked out, especially with our school systems, they're doing different cohorts. So kids are going like cohort A, cohort B, type of thing. So like some kids I'm picking up this year I haven't had, last year, because, I'm doing another bus driver's job. Because they can't run on a certain week because of their cohort. It's kind of weird, but you see it. You can tell that they are slightly afraid. That first time they get on the bus, they're kind of like, what do I do? They're kind of like they don't really know. And when you try to tell them, you got to go way to the back, you can't sit next to anyone, they're like, but why?
Yeah.
And it's one of those, you hope that the parents teach them, but some don't. I mean, we at my yard, we put out a video for everyone in our school system to learn how to ride the bus during COVID. And, not everyone saw it, but, those who did thought it was really cute and they thought it was nice, our rules still apply from pre-COVID. Most of those rules still apply. The only thing different is that you cannot be next to anyone. You just have to be socially distant.
I can't imagine that as social as we were in school. Like, I can't imagine if this had happened when we were in high school.
Yeah.
The whole school would have had it. I mean, there's no way, like, there's just no way we would have contained it.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, my youngest son, he's in junior high this year, and he's in 8th grade, so that's the last of his, younger years, and he is hating this. We're doing remote learning right now. We're hoping to get back with him because in our school system, they only let so many kids go back at first to try it out, to see if the numbers would stay low. So we're introducing more kids soon, and he just can't wait to get back. He is so sick of being home. This remote learning thing is crap.
and I don't think the parents enjoy it either, to be honest with you.
No, and it's hard, I mean, there's a lot of parents who are losing their jobs because of this, and everything, and I feel bad. I'm one of the lucky ones that I have a job that, allows me to be home also, and I also have my older son to help, and I have my parents to help, but it's one of those things where you have to sit back and think, I mean, this is hard on everyone.
Yeah, it's hard on everyone for sure. Depression rates have gone through the roof. Suicides have gone way up. Yeah. It's just, it's very sad. Alcohol sales are like the highest they've ever been. Seriously.
Especially up here.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, it's crazy. Well, now, so you mentioned a part about the bus windows being open. So yes. Now, how are you? Because I've been in Massachusetts when it was 0. How are you going to handle that in the winter? That's going to be crazy.
Well, we are allowed to have our heaters on, and I mean, from what we've been told. Now, like I said, this is a Massachusetts rule. It's not something that we can change. But from what we've been told so far we haven't had that. I mean, we just had like a rainstorm the other day, and I'm like, these poor kids in the back of the bus must get soaked.
Oh my gosh.
But I mean, we only leave the window open about an inch, but it's to ventilate the bus so that, because they're talking in the back of the bus, they are.
Yeah.
They're probably dropping their masks here and there. And I mean, no matter how much I can tell them, I can't be back there to tell them, hey, listen, cut it out.
Yeah, it is funny. Like, the rebellious kids are the ones like taking their ear loops off. Like, that's considered rebellion now.
Oh yeah.
I'm unhooking my ear loop.
See my face? Once the colder weather starts up, I don't know how we're going to do it, because they said it's supposed to be extreme weather conditions. But, from being up here in Massachusetts, we have snow days. You guys don't have that stuff down there.
No, we have hurricane days.
Yeah, so up here we have snow days, and one of the things that is thought about now is that the fact that most of these kids are given a tablet or a Chromebook, so we, us bus drivers will be basically not working that day, not getting paid for that day, and then these kids are going to be able to do remote.
Oh, okay, cool. All right. Well, they're still...
So it's good for the kids, bad for the bus drivers, but,
Well, now that you say that, how has your schedule been affected by COVID, or has it?
It has right now, and I mean, we are like, I feel bad for the parents as much as I feel bad for myself, but, we're basically trying to pick up as many kids as we can when we can, and we have to do it on different times. Like, the cohorts have us going at different times. I'm picking up one kid on 1 week, at 7:30, and on the next week I'm picking them up at 7:40.
So I would not do well with that rotating schedule, because I always forget stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think. Yeah. Do you? So you have to set an alarm, or what do you do? How do you keep track of that?
Yeah, I set an alarm, and right now I have my cohorts are separate, so I have them separated. And basically on Friday, so like today, I would go in and I'd be like, okay, so what's the changes for next week?
Yikes.
So I know how to set my alarm on my phone, so then, I can get up and do what I need to do.
Wow, that's so nuts. I just can't even imagine being a kid nowadays or a bus driver.